Hey guys, hello everyone. I think we already have a few visitors. That's interesting here. Yeah, hey guys. Here from StreamYard, I can't actually see how many people are currently here. Today I'm streaming on YouTube and Twitch for the first time, so let's see how that goes. And also the quality should be a little bit better because I upgraded my stream subscription to a paid one. So let me know how this goes, if the quality is better, if the connection is better or worse than last time. So yeah, let's see how this goes. And oh, Nuno is here as well. Good morning, man. Nice to see you too. What's the time? 3 p.m. Yeah, so that's a typical Nuno, getting up early in the afternoon. But yeah, just let me know about the quality, or if there are any difference since I upgraded. Right now, my laptop also sounds better, so no fan action so far. So we'll see about that. I was a little bit afraid because StreamYard now is streaming to YouTube and Twitch, but yeah, maybe that's not a problem on my side. So let's hope so. Okay, let's bring up some code here. Nope. Yeah. Here we go. Okay, so the last time, for people who are here the first time and didn't watch what we did the last time, so I'm working on this little application called Refactoring PHP Storm, and it should be a platform where you can submit like a class or a code snippet in PHP, and other users can submit kind of refactoring solutions. So how they would refactor the code, and hopefully, this could be interesting to a lot of people in the future, sharing, different solution to refactoring problems and see how this goes. So that's the plan for this little platform. And it's just a side project for me. I just thought it's a good idea, and that's why I'm doing this. So in the last video, we have here this list that I created with some of the main things that it should be possible to do. So a visitor should be able to see the stored examples, so the code snippets. Then also visitors should be able to see the solutions for the code examples. And these were the two things that we did the last time. And today we want to tackle these two here. So an authenticated user can submit a code example, and an authenticated user can submit a solution to a code example. So this is the goal for this stream. Not too much, but let's just see how fast we are, how fast things are going. And okay, Felix says stream looks good. I just heard a fan of my computer getting started, so let's see how it stays this way. Because last time we had some problems with my laptop was getting pretty slow. Okay, so one thing I noticed when I was looking through my tests, which was it? I think it was the page. I think it was. Let me just see. So these were the tests that we created. It shows given code snippets and that we get a successful response. So I think it was this one here. And let's see what we did here. It shows provided solution. So this is the test where we make sure that people can see the provided solution if they are in the database. And we were talking about plural here, so solutions, but actually we only created one solution here, this one. So that's what I also thought I might want to change here. So let's create a second one. And let's give this another name, so test snippet 2. And now let's make sure that we see this as well. And let's make this 2, and let's run this. Cool, so tests are passing. That's good. So that's the one thing that I wanted to change. Okay, let's get back and let's think about now this next thing here on my list. And again, as always, hello, Mohammed. Hello. Gertjan. I hope it's pronounced like this. Yeah, and as always, if you have any questions, yeah, just post some comments. If you have any feedback, if you just want to know anything, yeah, let's try to make this a conversation too, because yeah, that's why I do this. And I also want to hear what you are thinking of the implementations that I do. Okay, so here, an authenticated user can submit a code example. So this means we only want an authenticated user to be able to submit a code example. Okay, so what does this mean? So we will have some kind of dashboard. And on this dashboard, if you can only get there if you're logged in. And then you have here like a little form where you can submit a code example. So this means what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new test here. So it will be a feature test. Again, it's always a try to go from the outside in with my tests and then see if I need some more tests, some unit tests or anything else. And we are going to name all our pages page. So this will be page dashboard test. Okay, let's get rid of this basic test here. I'm going to use the refresh database trait. I think we'll use it. And now let's create a test. So the first test that I want to create, as always, is to make sure that we get a successful response. So this means, let's call it something. It shows successful response. Okay, so now when we think about it, we will need a user because you can only get there if you authenticate it. So maybe let's just start with this test first, because that's the first thing that will help me if you're not authenticated. It redirects you, or it redirects a guest. If I can spell it, it redirects a guest to the login page. I'm not going to return anything here. And yeah, so this means if we will go to this page and it will have a route name. I think we had dashboard and then we will dashboard show. I think that's what we agreed on in the last video. So dashboard get, and then I'm going to assert a redirect. And we're going to assert to be redirect to, I think it will be the login page. So I don't know yet exactly how I will implement this and what the name will be, but I'm just going to start with the first test here and then adapt the things that will change on the way. Okay, so yeah, let's just run this test and see where it gets us. Again, we want to try to let our failures tell us where to go next. So, okay, it seems, okay, I'm missing here the test statement. What is included? Let me just test this out. Okay, strange. Okay, maybe I deleted it. Let's try it again. And what is the failure? Route dashboard show is not defined. Okay, let's go to our .php file and let's add this route here for our dashboard. So it will be named dashboard, and let's also what we'll have, I think we will need a controller, so let's call it page dashboard controller, something like this. So yeah, so normally we can run now the test again, then we'll see that this class does not exist. So yeah, sometimes I just switch to here, perform 2 or 3 tasks on the way. I think as long as we keep it simple, that's fine. So I'm going to create the controller first here. So let's make a controller called, let's just make sure that we're using the page for all the other controllers as well, so that we can keep it the same. Okay, it was just code snippet controller. Okay, so let's get rid of the page here and let's just call it dashboard controller. And let's make it invocable. I hope it's written like this. Let's see. Okay, I think that's probably because, yeah, I think it's because he's not happy about this. Okay, controller was created. Let's bring this back in and let's just change this to our dashboard controller and we only provide the class. Okay, let's get back to the test and let's rerun it and see where it leads us this time. Okay, route dashboard now is not defined. Okay, that's because we haven't given it a name. So let's do it now. Dashboard show. Okay, and we run it again. What is next? Okay, route login is not defined. Okay, so now we have to think about the authentication system of the application. And I already know that I'm going to use Jetstream for this. So this means when I install Jetstream, we'll also get those routes with the route name. So this means I think it's now a good point to install it. So let's do this. Composer require, Laravel Jetstream. And then I think we're going to need to install it as well. So I've used Jetstream now, I think 1 or 2 times in a project I was working on. I'm not too much experience with it, but let's change this today. Okay, let me just check how I can install it. Let's just open Laravel docs. And let's bring this on the screen so you can see it as well. Okay. This is where I want to go. Okay, there's an official documentation. We have already required it. Okay, Jetstream install and then LiveWire. Okay, I don't think that we will need Teams, so we can skip that. Okay, let's install this. And let's already go back to our test here. So what I assume now is that when Jetstream is installed, that we will already have this login route defined within Jetstream. I'm not 100% sure, but we're just going to try it out and see. Here we're installing the assets, but actually I don't need them right now. So let's just run the test again. Okay, so now our route, let's get rid of this here. So our route dashboard show is not defined anymore. Okay, so that's interesting because I have defined it before. Let's see if Jetstream just messed up here anything. Okay, here we go. So Jetstream just added this route endpoint here. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm just copy out the middleware so that I can use it for my route. But I don't think that I will need the view from Jetstream. So let's add middleware as well. Middleware. Okay, let's run the test again. What's next here? I just need to switch back so that I can see your comment on the second screen. Okay, I see. Let's bring you guys back here. Okay, no comments, all good. Let's move on. Okay, the test is not passing. Okay, let's check again. So what did we actually test here? Okay, we made an assertion that we get redirected to login page if we're not logged in. Okay, that's good. So then we want to make sure it shows a successful response for logged in user. So this way I want to make sure that we can see this page as a logged in user. So this means we're going to need a user. So let's use the factories again. And let's just create one. We don't care about any details of the user. And then we're going to act as this user. Yes, okay, now we see it acting as this user. And now we make a GET request to our dashboard route again. And to see a successful response. Yeah, so this time we're acting and asserting with the same call. So let's just add this here. Act and assert. Let's try it out. Okay, the dashboard route does not exist. Of course, we named the dashboard .show. Yeah, no level IDE plugin would have also told me that. So what's next? Of course, okay, let's do this the right way now. So I don't want to have any more spelling errors. So let's just let the IDE help me to get this right. Okay, this looks much better now. So this means we have now made sure that a guest gets redirected and that we have a successful response for an authenticated user. Okay, so what's next? The actual thing that we want to test here is that the user can submit a new code snippet. So this means there are a few ways we could do it. So for example, we could provide on our dashboard a form, and then we could maybe use Laravel Dask to just fill in the form and send it, and then we make sure we see a new record in the database. But I already know that I want to use some LiveWire components. So this means we could now here create a test and test the LiveWire component that when we submit something that we'll see something in the database. But what I like to do is I like to have my own dedicated tests for LiveWire components. So what I would do now here is I just want to make sure that we see on this page the component. So let's call it includes and what will be the name? I want to call it code snippet submit component. Includes code snippet submit component. Okay, and again, we're going to need now a user. Here we need the user. Then we're going to act as the user and hit this endpoint again. And now we've with LiveWire, we have a new assertion to make sure that we see this component on the page. So assert, I think it's C. Okay, we don't get autocomplete for this here. Maybe we need to ask the guy of Level IDE why we don't have this yet. So maybe that's not included yet. But I think it's called assert C LiveWire. Let's just try it out. And it will be called codes. I think we can use the class here. Just make sure. Okay, we can't find it. Let's just search for this. Assertion. So here we have it. So here we are inside LiveWire. I'm in the service provider, assert C LiveWire and function, and we're providing the component. Let's just see what happens with this component. Name, JSON encode, then we trim it. Okay, I think from that, I think we would use the name, the string name, but let's test both. So let's start with the string. Code snippet submit. So I think I'm going to call it this. Let's run the test and see what our failing test will tell us. Okay, can't find LiveWire component snippet. Okay, so this is good because it already tells us that it's looking for this component, but it does not find it yet. So yeah, I think let's create this component now. So I think it's add LiveWire make, and let's call it code. I'm sorry, my laptop is going pretty slow here. That's why I have so many typos, because it's just reacting too late. But submit. LiveWire make code snippet submit. Yeah, I think I'll keep it like that. Okay, I don't want to do this now. And now, what do we know now? I think we're still not going to see it because, yeah, we haven't created the view file yet. Yeah, so here we can see that we don't get anything back here. So again, on our route, we have defined the dashboard controller, and here we are not returning anything. So we want to return here a view. And yeah, let's make one first. I can also do this with the Level IDE plugin, create a new view. And let's call it pages. Yes, he already recognizes the order. And now let's call it just dashboard. Okay, so this means we can turn it here. All right, that's good. Let's add the return type. I just want to get rid of this. Okay, we're returning the dashboard, and then on the dashboard, I think that's now the wrong dashboard, because I think that's probably from Jetstream. So let's see again. Yeah, we want this dashboard view file. And here we're going to extend our layout tag that we created. Now we want to use our LiveWire component. So I've seen this a few times. So the first time when you create your component, Laravel IDE does not know about it. I sometimes have to restart the IDE so that it knows. So this is a little bit, that's not so much fun. So now I have to think about what the name was, code, Snippet, submit. I think something like that. Or maybe it could also be because my computer is so slow that PHP Storm is too slow with auto-completion. But yeah, let's just give it a try. Let's go back to our test here. And let's see if we now see our LiveWire component. Yeah, you can see this already takes much longer than it should be. Oh yeah, Getian did already see it before me, so I just didn't take a look at the comments, so thank you. And here, what was the problem here? So we cannot find the code snippet submit so where does this start here? But we also have an error here, unable to find component code snippet submit. Yeah, so that means I just probably misspelled it here in our dashboard. I think it should be code snippet submit. Yeah, that's when you get lost when auto-completion is not working for you. That's a shame. Shame on me. Okay, let's take a look again. So what was the name of our component? HTTP LiveWire. Okay, there we see. I already misspelled it while I created it. I think someone was posting that there's a way to rename one of your components. Let me see if I can find this comment. This would be easier. Okay, move. That's interesting. Okay. LiveWire move. Let me see if I can get some help here on how to use it. Move the LiveWire components. Name and new name. Okay. So let's just copy this name here and move it from code snippet submits to code snippet submit. Okay, this should now have changed our component here and the view file. So let's hope this works now. So code snippet submit. Yeah, like this. All right, so let's run our test again. Oh yeah, so Gert-Jan also did see the name that I didn't have right for the component. Okay, so this works now. That's good. So let's also add this here, act and insert. So this means now in our dashboard page test, we're only gonna make sure that we see this component. And this is what I want, because now I want to test the component in its own test. I just think it better fits if we have a dedicated test for all the LiveWire components that we want to use. And yeah, if I have the test for the component, and then here on this page, I make only sure that we see this component, then for me, that's enough to make sure that everything should work. Okay, so let's create now a new test for our component. Let me see, any questions? No, okay. So I don't think we have a LiveWire command to create a new test. Nope. Okay, so let's just create a new feature test. And I think I want to create a new directory. Livewire where I have all my components, and now this is called code snippet submit test. Code snippet submit test. Okay, it seems that the tests generated by the Laravel IDE plugin always includes this basic test. Let's see if we can get rid of this because I don't want to use it. I think it should be under templates somewhere. Go directly to the settings, and yeah, now with the presentation mode, it's pretty annoying to read all this stuff. Let me see if I can make this bigger. Or I can't do. Okay, that's annoying. Okay. Let me try the search for Laravel idea. So we have the inspections, we have some general settings, code generation. Okay, this looks now interesting. Create feature test, okay. So what can I do here? Base class and the location. Okay, yeah, I also think I remember that they are separated. So here we have just some basic settings that we can do, but also somewhere else we have the file templates. Check again. Or was it just template? File and code templates. Here we go. Okay, and now let's search for feature here. Up here. So that's super annoying that I can't change this on the presentation mode. So let's just go through them here. So form request feature test. Okay, here we go. Yeah, here we go. Okay, let's just delete this, apply it. So that's what's really cool about the Laravel Ideal plugin is that you can just change all of those templates to your needs. So let's use the trade again, refresh the database. And now let's think about what we want to test here. So we'll have a component where we have some inputs. So we'll have, I think we have a name and the content for the code snippet, and the user should be able to submit it, and then it should get to the database. Okay. Let's start by it stores code snippet to database. Okay, what do we need here? So we're going to make use of LiveWire test helpers. So we're going to test a specific component. Code snippet submit component, and we're providing the class. All right, so what do we want to test here? So we're going to set a few properties. So first the name, call it just test snippet. And then let's also add the content. And let's just call it test content. And then what's next? Is this the only thing we need? Yeah, I think. Okay, this means now we're going to call a method, and let's call it submit. So that's already that's act and arrange in this case. So range and act, and now we're going to make an assertion. So make an assertion to the database. So assert database. Oh yeah, that's nice. Assert database count. That's nice because that's a method that I created for Laravel, which I found pretty useful and wasn't there yet. And I think I made a pull request half a year ago. So what you can do is now you can check for a specific table. Like I think the table is called code snippets, a specific amount of entries. So I think we're going to copy this and also test this here at the beginning. So at the beginning, we assume that we don't have any code snippets. Then we're going to test our livefile component. We set the name, the content, we submit it, and then we should see one entry in the database. All right, let's try it out. Of course, we haven't done anything to our component yet, but again, we want our fitting test tell us what to do next. So there's no property name in our component. So that's fair enough. So let's create public string name, and while we're already here, let's also create a public string called content. So to complaints. Just switch this here. I think new PHP version, if you have the status bar. So let's just view it just for a second. Maybe it's not shown in the presentation mode. Let me just check this. Exit presentation mode, just so I can show this to you. Oh yeah, so now here we see our used PHP version. Okay, I thought that we now could change it here as well, but it seems like we can do this. So let's change this to PHP 7.4 and 7. Okay, now I'm not complaining anymore. And okay, let's run our test again and let's see what's next here. Let me see. Nuno has a comment here. Let me show this to you. Interesting. I would have used the model itself for assertion. So I said, okay, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I think, of course, you can do this as well. I just, at this point, I was really into trying to use as specific assertion as possible. So if I can use like a count assertion or is array or something like this instead of equals and then providing two strings, I try to use this more specific assertion because while reading it, it already tells me a little bit more about what I want to test. But of course, using it like this is fine as well. So it's probably just preference. But yeah, thanks for mentioning this, Nuno. So yeah, so we need to make sure that they are initialized. So just setting them empty here. I think that's the only way to do this, right? To just providing some dummy data right from the beginning so that PHP is not complaining. Yeah, of course, I think I could probably set them via the constructor, but since we don't have it here, I think it's probably best to just define them here. Let me know if you have a different solution for that. Okay, let me just get back to the presentation mode. Yeah, here we go. And let's run our test again. Unable to call component method. Yeah, that's true because we haven't defined it yet. So let's add this method here. A public function called submit. We're not going to return anything. Retrieve code, run it again. So field assert in the table code snippet matched expected entries count of 1. Okay, entries found 0. Okay, that's true, yeah, because we haven't stored the snippet yet. So let's just store our code snippet. So we have a model called code snippet. Let's just create a new one here. Provide the name and also provide the content. Here we go. And let's try again. What should we do next? Okay, we haven't defined name or content. We haven't added it to the fillable. So let's just do this here. Template fillable equals to an array of name and content. Okay, what's next? So, hi Dennis, hi Vinay. Let me know if this is pronounced correctly. I'll try to learn one or two things. Okay, that's good. So the test is passing now. Let's check again what we're actually testing. So we're asserting that when we fill in our LiveWire component and call the submit method that we're going to see now in the database. But now I also want to go a little bit more specific, and let's make sure that we have the correct name and content as well. So assert database has, I think the first argument is again the table. And then the second is an array of our name. And it was test snippet. And the content was test content. Right. Let's see if those values are also filled correctly in the database. Okay, that's nice. That's good. Okay. So this means now we have correctly tested this third feature on our list. So where do we have it? Oh, it's on here. So an authenticated user can submit a code example. And the way we've tested it is by creating the dashboard, making sure that only authenticated users can get there. And then if you're authenticated, you will see the component. And then we have made a dedicated test for the component itself to make sure that we see it in the database. But yeah, I think we're not finished because we have two values to fill in our component. So let's also make sure that they are provided. So I think I'm going to make another test here. So I think I'm going to do one for each of the fields. So let's say name field is required. I think something like that. Okay, let's copy this here. Let's copy the whole thing. And again, I maybe need to create another live template for LiveWire so that I can just switch this out here. Or maybe I'm just doing it right away. Because mostly if you don't do it right away, you're not going to do it. It's just a little bit annoying doing those things in the presentation mode, but yes, since you're already here, it pushes me to do this right now. So I have a test live template. Oh, that's pretty annoying to read here. So I think I have it under PHP. Here we have it. So this is where I create my test snippets. And let's just copy and yeah, I just copy and place it in here. And how do I want to do this? Test LV, should this be the one to expand it? Yeah, let's just try it like this. So, and mostly I will have now here, let's get rid of this. I will have a range and act in the same call. So let's just change this. We also have the assertion. No, we don't have it always on. So let's keep it like this. Because with LiveWire, you can make some assertions right on the chaining call of the LiveWire test helper. But as you've seen, we also had some assertions that we made for the database, so this would end up down here. So let's apply this, try it out right away. Let's just see. Test LiveWire. Okay, perfect. This is working. So next time, I hope I remember that I created this. So name field is required. So this means we're not going to fill in the name field. So it should be empty now. And I think we have an assertion now. Assert has errors. I think it's that. Okay. Keys. So it's an array with the key. Just the keys. Okay. So I think it should work like this as well. I'm not sure. We're going to try it out together now. Yeah, I'm not going to use this. We're going to arrange, act, and assert here. Okay, let's just try it out and see what's happening. So we haven't defined any validation rules yet, so we should see an error. Component has no errors. Okay, so let's get back to our component and let's add some rules. I think it's the public rules. I think so. Let's try it out. So I think it should be something like name required. Not sure if the Laravel IDE plugin has already auto-completion for LiveWire validation rules. But yeah, let's just try it out. I'm not sure if we implement it like this. Okay, so it probably is required, but it's probably still a string because we provided an empty string. I'm actually not sure right now. So if I set it to required and the string is empty, should it fail? I think it should. What do you say? Before I go and check the documentation, I'll give it over to you. Let me know. So if I want to make sure that it's not empty, I think required should be enough, right? So that's the final check to see if anyone is listening. I know we have a delay of about 15 seconds. I just noticed I do actually see how many people are in here. So currently we have 7 watching. So I just didn't see it at the top left corner of my of the StreamYard software. Okay, if you're not responding, let me just check. So here we go, level documentation, validation. Let me just bring it over. Here it is. Where do we see all the rules? Here we go. So the field under validation must be present in the input data and not empty. A field is considered empty if one of the following. The value is an empty string. Yeah, so that's what I thought. So let us check again why this is not working. So it could be probably about the rules. So let's check the LiveWire documentation. And as you can see, I'm using Alfred for Laravel documentation, LiveWire documentation, Tailwind documentation, and this makes it much easier to get directly to the page that I'm looking for. So let's check, real-time validation. Protected rules. Could it be just because of this? Let's just try it. So the name is required, and inside our test we haven't set the name. And here we are asserting the name. I think it should work, but it does not. Component has no errors. Okay, what could this be about? Gertjan is asking if I don't see his message. So I've seen. Oh, you don't see my code currently. I've seen it will, but it took quite a bit, so I haven't seen it before. So yeah, like you said, it should work like this, but it does not. And let me just try to see what's happening here is so. Oh yeah, of course, I think I need to run the validate method. That's what I forgot. This validate, and now we should see the error. Just a simple mistake on my side. Yeah, probably it wasn't easy for you guys to see if I edited somewhere already or not. Okay, perfect. So this means this is now working, and we can add another test for the content, which is pretty much the same. So content field is required. So let's change this to the name. Test name, and now I want to see an error for the content. Here we go. So, okay, it's not working because we haven't added it yet to our rules. So let's just follow this now differently. Now that we have multiple values, and let's say the content is required to. That's right. Okay, perfect. That's fine. So we have now also checked the validation rules for content and name. And I think that's a good time to make a commit. have this little shortcut, GAC, so add everything and write a commit message. So what did we do? We made sure that you can submit a code snippet from the dashboard. So authenticated user can submit code snippet from the dashboard. Okay, clear this out and remove this. Okay, let's see what's next here. Let me just check the time. Yeah, we're already 1 hour in, so it goes pretty fast. Yeah, like the last time flies by really fast. So I think we will do maybe another half an hour like last time, and then we'll see where we at. So an authenticated user can submit a code example. Okay, and now we want to make sure that an authenticated user can submit solutions. Okay, so now we have to think about how I want this to work. So we have already a dedicated page for specific code snippets. Yeah, so this one here. So and I think what I'm going to do, so a visitor, a guest can see all the code snippets and can go to the specific code snippet page. And I think now I want to add a form, a LiveWire component, if the user is authenticated, so he can submit a so-called solution. Yeah, I think it should work like this. Okay, let's go back now to our test from before. It's a feature test. Oh yeah, we now have all the Jetstream tests in there. I think there is also a way to install Jetstream without those tests, right? No, not sure if you're still listening. I think you can do this. I think it's a little bit annoying that we have those all in here now, especially not inside a specific directory. So I think this is what I also want to change, but let's just search for our class, page code snippet. Okay, so what have we tested here so far? It shows a given code snippet and it shows provided solution. So now on this page, we also want to make sure that we see a LiveWire component. So it shows, it includes, I think I've used in the last time, so let's stay like this. It includes, and what will be the name of the component. So the last we were calling code snippet submit. So let's call it code snippet solution submit. Yeah, I think so. Includes code snippet solution. Code snippet solution submit component. Yeah, here we go. So this means we need an authenticated user. So this means we're going to need a user. So let's just create one. User factory. I'm going to need a snippet for this one as well. Create, and then we're acting. We're going to make a call acting as this user. And we make a get request to specific route. Name was code snippet show. I think we're going to need to provide the code snippet. Oh yeah, we need the ID, of course, as well. So let me just check the route. Where do we have it? Code snippet. Yeah, okay, so we need to provide the ID of a code snippet. So this means we're going to need to create a code snippet. Let's just add this to our arrange part here. So we have the code snippet. And then let me see, can I also add this ID now as a parameter? Actually, I'm not sure. Let's give it a try. I normally would have added it just to the UL directly, but let's just try code snippet ID. And to make sure that we see this component. So again, assert C livewire, and the component is called Snippet Solution Submit. Code snippet solution submit. So let's get rid of this and bring this back here. Let's just run it and see what result we get here. So cannot find livewire component code snippet solution submit. Okay, fair enough. We haven't created it yet. Let's do this. Add livewire make code snippet solution submit. Oh, and of course, I want to spell it correctly. Code snippet solutions submit. Here we go. So we have created this now, but still this will fail because we haven't added it to our blade view. Let's just make sure that's the case. Yeah, I cannot find component on the page. So let's go to our page. Call the code snippet. This is called code snippet blade. Yeah, here we go. So what we're doing here is we are showing the code snippet name as a title. Oh, I need to refactor. Oh, that's not aligning correctly. Yeah, like this, it should be. And then we're looping over the solutions if given. And then now here after it, I want to check if the user is authenticated. And so make sure to close it. If he is authenticated, I want to add now this component. So again, we don't see the auto completion yet, so that's pretty annoying. I'm pretty sure if I close it, I will have it. Let's just try this. I want to make sure it's like that. So let's get rid of it, open it up again. Let's see, do we have any new comments in the meantime? So you can also just place the variable and Laravel will fix it for you. I can place, I think what you were talking about was regarding the route definition and the ID that I provided. Okay, I think we also were talking about this the last time, so let's try this as well. Let's bring PHP Storm up again. Yeah, again, I'm sorry for my computer, which is pretty slow. I will get a new one. I have already ordered it. I hope it will be there in like 2 weeks, but until then I have to, manage to work with this old machine. So let's bring this up again. Dun, 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 dun. This is annoying. Da, 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 da. Oh, come on. You're kidding me. It's so slow. So before I test this, I want to try out what Gertjan said. And yeah, Felix was asking about what laptop I will get. Yeah, I ordered MacBook Air, 16 gigabyte. I read and heard a lot about, and it's so cool. And I did go for the Air because I might change to a new MacBook Pro, which is coming in a few months. And I just needed one right now, so that's why I ordered the Air. And I think the Air is then probably getting someone in my family who needs a new computer. But yeah, maybe the Air is so good that I will just keep it, because here people were so happy with it, and it seems like it's faster like most of the other iMacs and laptops out there from Apple, so that's pretty crazy. So let's test this out, what Gertjan said. Which test was it? Page code snippet test. This one. So I think what he said, I can remove the code to the ID field and just provide the code snippet, and Laravel smart enough to add the correct ID to it. So let's try it out. Yeah, like Felix mentioned, Freek also said he's super happy about the Air and can only recommend it. So what's up with this test? It's not starting yet. Here we go. So yeah, it's failing, but it's failing because of this assertion. So it means, let me check. Did I test just this one? It includes code snippet solution submit component. So where did I just change this? Oh yeah, it was here. Okay, yeah. So this was working and this is failing, and that's okay. And what I wanted to try now after restarting PHP Storm, that I have now auto completion for my LiveWire components. Yeah, okay. I don't have it now, so I'm not sure if it could be about my laptop being pretty slow and PHP Storm is over. Oh yeah, now here we go. That's what I'm talking about. So we want to add the LiveWire code snippet solution submit. This means now our test here should give us back something green. Okay, perfect. That's good. So we've made sure that if you're an authenticated user, it includes a code snippet component. Let's just change this because it actually an authenticated user. Oh no, let's name it. It includes code snippet solution submit component for authenticated user. Let's also make sure that the same is working for the opposite. So let's copy this test here. And say it does not include code snippet solution submit component for guest user. So this means we're getting rid of our user here, and we're getting rid of this acting here. Now this test should fail because we are a guest user. And we can change now our assertion to assert. I think it's don't see. Okay, perfect. This is now working. Good. So this means we have successfully tested that if you're an authenticated user, we have the component to submit the solution on the page, and if you're a guest, you don't see it. Okay, this means now we need to make sure we need to test our component. So let's create a new feature test. And we're going to call it code snippet solution submit test. Yeah, I might think about changing the names a little bit, maybe to just solution submit instead of code snippet solution, but I've now been going down this route now for the last things that are implemented, so I'll keep it for now, but I might think about it. So what do we want to test here? Let's try a new live template again. It stores code snippet solution in database. And we don't want to make sure that we can see the solution on the web page, because we have already made a test for that. So if there is data in the database, it will be shown. But now we want to make sure that it gets to the database. So that's what I'm interested in here. So again, we want to make use of the LiveWire test helper. Let me just check. Nope. For the constant. Yeah, so we want to test a specific component. Which component is it? So code snippet solution submit. Yeah, that's the one here. I have a question in the meantime. Let me just bring it up. How would you test the validation of a field when it has multiple validation rules? All in one test, or each rule will get its own test? Out of my head, I'm not sure. I think out of my head, I would do it in the same test. So keep all the rules for the same field in the same test, but I will just see how it ends up with how long it gets. Will the test method will still be good to read? Does it feel clumsy or too big? Then I might change it. But I think from now out of my head, I would create one test for multiple rules for one field. I hope this makes sense. But I'm pretty sure we'll also end up with more validation rules on some fields, and then we'll see how I will do it. Okay, so what do we need for our solution? I think currently we only have the content. So let's see if we find the migration file. Yeah, so right now we have the ID. Yeah, okay, we need the ID of the code example and then the content. So, oh, yep, I did. So this means we're going to need to set the code snippet ID. And this means we also have to arrange something here first. So we have a code snippet here. me just see if I have still saved it somewhere. Yeah, here. Code snippet, we're going to create a new code snippet. I think right now we don't care about the content. So I think we can delete that and just use the ID here, code snippet ID. And yeah, that's not an array. We have two fields here. What else do we need? We want to set also content. Then is the next content. Let's just call it test solution content. Test solution content. Yeah, I think I'm fine with that. And again, it's not right here. Okay, what's next? We provide the ID. We have the content, and then we're going to submit it. So we're going to call a method called submit. And now we want to make sure that we see it in the database. So again, we're going to start with the assertion here. Assert database count, and it was called code snippet solutions. Yeah, here we have it. PHP is so slow that I have to wait for the windows to open before I can type anything. Code snippet solution, and we want to see no entries, and copy it. And down here, we want to make sure now that we have one entry. And import the model here, and let's just try it out, and let's see what failure we do see. Code snippet solution is not a table. Okay, why is that? Okay, that's because we haven't run our migrations here. So let's use the refresh database trait and rerun the test. So property code snippet ID not found. Okay, let's get to our component and let's add the ID. So I think right now I'm going to keep this a private one because I'm not going to change this from the user. It will be fixed right from when the component is built. So private integer int code snippet ID. And yeah, let me think. How do we get now our code snippet in here? So probably our blade file snippet. Yeah, here what we'll have is we're going to provide the code snippet. Not sure if it's okay. Let's just try it. Code snippet, and here we'll have the code snippet. And we have access to the code snippet here, so that's why we're going to pass it in here. Yeah, I think it should work like this. And inside our component here, this means we're also getting a snippet in here, and this will be a code snippet. I think Livewire is already possible of type hinting the class, so let's also just give it a try. Code snippet. Okay, so this also means now, since I already have the code snippet itself, I don't need the ID. So let me think how I want to do this. So this means, let's check our test again. Here we are setting the code snippet. So this is one thing that we can do, but it also would work if we just set the code snippet. And I think that's what we're going to do. I think that's better here. Because here we don't need to make sure that we set the ID. We can also do this when we create the solution. So let's call this code snippet. Here we're providing whole code snippet. And then here in our component, we can get rid of this. We have here now the code snippet itself. Okay, this means the error now should be different. So let's see what we get now here from the test. Property code snippet not found on component. Okay, so this probably means now that it needs to be public. Let me think about this. So do I want the code snippet to be public inside my component? We already have most of the content. We have the ID in the URL, so this means there's no problem right now showing the ID because all the LiveWire components that are public will be available through JavaScript, so people can see the data. And I'm now thinking if there's anything in there that might be a problem. So since we already have the ID of the snippet in the URL and we have only the name and the content, I actually don't care to make it public right now. I might need to change this in the future, but let's change it for now. Okay, property code snippet is not found. Okay, now that I see the error, complaining about a different thing. Yeah, so we want to set the code snippet. So it also means it probably should work making this private again. Let's just try it out. That's how I mostly work. I don't know all those things out of my head and I'm just trying it out. Okay, maybe it is about accessor. Let's try it now. Public. So type property code snip solutions must be accessed before initialization. Okay. So this means it is not set when we create this class. That's how I understand it. But we should actually pass it through our component. We have it here in our code snippet. So here we are providing the code snippet. But, it seems I also messed up the code here. Yeah, so that's so annoying when your laptop is so slow, you're too fast on your keyboard and then you type some shortcuts and you're messing up your code while not running the shortcuts on the same window where you would want to run it. So the problem, how I understand it now, is here we are type hinting the code snippet. And this means if we had a constructor, we would need to define what code snippet is when we create the class. Because if this is not the case, then PHP will complain about it. So one solution that I know is removing the type hint here. So that's one thing that should work. I'm not sure if there's another thing. Maybe is there a method for LiveWire where I can define that it is set, but I'm passing the code snippet to the component, so I don't think there's a way I can change this. Okay, so now we see a different error, so let's leave it like this, and let's check out about the content. So we don't have the content yet, so edit the public content. Yeah, I think it's the same here. or maybe it works with a string because maybe Livewire can handle this. Let's just try it out. Yeah, so it's the same here. Like this, it should work. And yeah, let's see if we get now a different error. What does it says? Method not found exception. Okay, so this means now we are create our submit method that we are calling in our test. So we're going to submit. We don't return anything. We run the test again. So now it should complain about the database that there are no entries. Failure sorting, the table code snippet matches expected entries count of 1. Yeah, so that's the one that we expected. So this means now we need to create code snippet solution. We have the model. Let's create one. So now we're going to pass in here the code snippet ID of the example. Code snippet ID. This code snippet ID, so that's the one. And then the content, which we do get from our public content property. This should already make it pass, I think. Do we get something green back? No, we don't. Oh yeah, there's one more thing. We need to edit our fillable array for our code snippet solution. So protected fillable array. And we want to add the code snippet ID. We're already here. Let's also add the content, which our test would also complain about if we haven't added it yet. Okay, cool. So now we have made our test pass. So let's just stay in the test. So have we tested? We have made sure that when we set the code snippet, add the content and submit it, that we will see this now in the database. So where have we created the solution? Where we've defined the content. Yeah, so since we are also define here the content, let's also make sure that it is the same. So let's assert database has our array, table is code snippet solutions, and the array that we expect to find has the code snippet ID of code snippet ID, whatever that is, probably 1 in our case. And then we also want to make sure that the content here is, we have defined it as a string, test solution content, like this. And hopefully we still see it green. Yeah, we do. Okay, that's pretty good. So this means now we have made sure that we can create a solution if we are logged in user. Of course, there are probably some edge cases. I'm not sure yet if a user can create a solution for his own example. I'm not sure if I want to allow that. So yeah, these are all little details that we'll tackle in one of the other videos, and I don't want to focus on them yet. We are already running a little bit late, but I still want to add the assertions for validation rules. So this means we're going to make here another test. What do we have here? So do we have to test that the code snippet is given? Yeah, I think probably we're also going to pass it through the blade file, but I think still let's make sure that we have it. So this means this code snippet is required. And let's just copy this to make this a little bit easier. Now we don't provide a code snippet. And now we're making an assertion about the error bag. Assert, we have an error about code snippet. I think that's the key. We'll see. And it's okay. So why is this passing? We haven't defined validation rules. We haven't provided the code snippet, and now we're making an assertion that we have this code snippet error. Okay, that's interesting to me. If any one of you is still there, maybe you have an idea. So let me just check. So we haven't defined any validation rules. So this means, why do we see an error if we call it without the code snippet? That's interesting. No comments yet. Okay, let me try by running the test with something different. Like this value, which does not exist. Does this still pass? No, okay. So it seems, since we are going to make use of the code snippet, that LiveWire is adding it to the error bag. That's interesting. Okay, now this looks more like a response that I would have. Okay, this is better now. Attempt to read property ID on null. Okay, so this is what I was actually expecting. I'm not sure why I did see a different error. So maybe it was still running a different test. I don't know. So this means here again, we're going to need our rules array. And we're going to make sure that the code snippet is given. And just keep it like that. And now I don't forget to run the validation. Here of LiveWire, this validate. And what do we get now? I think it already should pass. Yeah, it does. Okay, that's fine. And let's add now the last one. We don't need a version here. But let's copy this. And let's say the content is required. So this means now we're going to set the code snippet, but not the content. Let's replace this here. And again, we need the code snippet. Here we go. So we're setting the code snippet, but we don't set the content, and we want to see an error about the content. It should fail because here we haven't defined it yet. Yeah, okay, it's now failing because the content is not set and there is an error. But yeah, so we need to make sure that it fails the validation before this other error will occur. So this means here we also make sure that the content is required. Okay, reformat our code. Let's run it. And we are passing. Okay, that's great. That's a good point to sum up. So let's write a new message. So authenticated user can submit solution to a code snippet. Perfect. So that was the one we were doing. Let's just get back to our list of our tasks. So yeah, today we made sure that an authenticated user can submit a code example. And now we also made sure that an authenticated user can submit solution. Okay, that's, I think, enough for today. Yeah, we're already over 90 minutes. So thank you, everybody, for watching again. Next live stream, I think I might do one on Friday, if I can on Friday, or then the next week. And then we will think about what will be the next tasks for an MVP. So my goal is to try to finish this as simple as possible and to publish it and then go on the way, add new features. But I really want to give this MVP a first try so that people can use it and we'll see how they react to it. Yeah, perfect. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Have a nice Monday. Have a nice week. And we will see us the next time. Thank you. Bye.